Throughout the entire time that I've been trying to budget and save, starting from July, I believe, of 2024, I've cut tons and tons of things out of my budget. Probably tens of thousands of dollars I've saved by reducing consumption overall. However, there are quite a few things that I'm still not willing to give up and that I don't want to cut from my budget. And I think that and I go back and forth with this. Like sometimes I'm like, you really need to get so serious and get down to bare bones until you are completely out of debt, have replenished your savings and investment accounts. And then at the other end, I'm like, well, I've cut so much out that these are the things that I know I absolutely love and use and replenish and reuse over and over again. And so if I want to keep some of those things in my life, then I should. So I go back and forth. You might not agree with some of this stuff. Some of it you might, I don't know. But we're going to go through a list of things. There's about 10 of them that I just cannot cut from my budget. And if you are somebody who is easily triggered by ads, by influencers, or you still have a really strong shopping addiction, or you're an impulsive buyer, then X out of this video and then come back next week, because I am going to be mentioning products and I am going to be mentioning brands. And these items are things that I absolutely love. And so I don't want you to think that because I love them and they maintained a spot in my budget that it means that it will be great for you too. Like, I don't want you to get that idea. I strongly discourage you, if you watch this video through, I strongly discourage you to not purchase not one thing. Like, get it out of your mind now, okay? Only if you have a shopping addiction. Like, if you got your spending under control, do what you want. But I know the shopping addiction all too well, and you may not even notice it. But just like, if you watch this video, I can't reiterate it enough, do not buy anything in this video, okay? And also, like, even when I say it, like, I don't want to tell you not to do anything. Like, you have agency. You are an adult. You can do what you want. I just don't want to be the cause of that buying. Okay, so let's get into it. You'll notice a trend here is that I don't like using a lot of drugstore products. And I think that that's my one major fault, is that in the past, when I was just buying tons and tons of products, like, I had a whole stash, like a beauty influencer would have a stash, although I had made no money from videos. I had drawers and drawers and makeup bins just full of stuff. And so in that process, I purchased a lot of super, super high-end stuff, some mid-level stuff. I also purchased a lot of the drugstore stuff that I tried, and through, I just didn't like the drugstore stuff. So I'm saying this because a lot of the more expensive things stayed in my life. And these are things that are just tried and true to me that I just can't give up. I can't give it up. I feel like I'll be just like, but then I go back. This is me again. Like, I go back and I'm like, really? Is it that important? Like, I have a shampoo and conditioner. Is it that important? Is it making such a difference in your life? Maybe. I don't know. The first thing I have not given up, and the reason why I remembered this, and this is in the video, is because in one of my very previous videos, somebody commented, I think I mentioned that I ran out of shampoo and conditioner. I had to go buy more. And somebody commented, just go buy Dove at the drugstore. And I was like, yeah, valid, but I don't want to do that. So these are the two items that I have used for years. And every single time I run out, I will buy them again. This is just like these two. I'm not going to, like, you could see the brand names, but I'm not going to throw it out there just because I don't want to encourage you to buy, really. But I think that this one is like $48, this conditioner. And this shampoo, clarifying shampoo, is probably like in the mid 30s, early 40s. So like these two combined are around $80-ish, which is expensive for a shampoo and conditioner. And I go through it fairly fast. Like, this will probably last me a month and a half, I think. The next thing is nails. Don't look at these things because they're so gross. So I am trying to get on a trend where I'm only getting my nails done once per month. But they're really bad. Like, I'm really pushing it. We're at the end of the month. So the next thing is nails. I really just don't want to give up my nails. And I have tried in the past doing like the the gel manicure at home. But what ended up happening is that I just didn't find the time or make the time to do nails myself. And so I would just like, they would end up cracking and looking really bad, like this now, but worse. And then I still have the stuff, but it just sits there. And I'm like, it's just easier for me to go and get them done once a month, and then that's it. And that cost me about $55 once a month. I could go without getting my nails done altogether and just have them bland, but I feel like naked. I don't know why. I just feel like if I really had to, okay, if I really had to cut out everything, this would be one of the ones that I would let go. But it is a little pleasure that I enjoy. So, and so when I think about it, okay, it's like $55 a month. So it's like, would I work 1 hour to get my nails done? I think I would. I would work for 1 hour and use 1 hour of my life to get my nails done. So for me, it's worth it right now. The next thing is Botox. So right before I started this personal finance journey, I was getting Botox and I was getting filler on a fairly regular basis. I would get filler in my lips once in a while, and then I would get filler in like some spots in my face. And so when I started budgeting and trying to save, I started putting a little money away towards that Botox, and I completely eliminated the filler. But I just don't want to get rid of the Botox because this would be way harder to get rid of than nails, because like I just have these lines in my forehead. I've had them for forever. I got them from my dad and they drive me nuts. And also the crow's feet that is creeping up because I am getting older, unfortunately. And so anytime I see myself in a video, it's a pain. When you see yourself in video all the time through editing, and I just see it all the time, and it's accentuated in my eyes, and I just feel like I don't know how I would not do it. I mean, I really could. If things came down and it got really serious, I would eliminate Botox. But that's one of the things that I don't want to give up. And I get Botox. I used to get Botox 3 to 4 times a year. Now I'm averaging 1 or 2. And that will cost me about $650 each time. So about $1,300 a year is what I have to budget for Botox. But one other Botox area. So if you haven't heard me talk about this, I get Botox under my arms, and that completely eliminates sweating. And so I used to have hyperhidrosis, I think it's called. I don't know, excessive sweat glands under my arms. And when I was with my ex, we went on a boat trip with a few couples. And one of the girls was like, oh yeah, I have to go get my son Botox under his arms. And I was like, what, why? And she was like, oh, it stopped sweating. And it was like, huh, what? I didn't know that was a thing. And so ever since then, I've been getting Botox under my arms once a year. And this is probably the last thing I would get rid of. It's expensive. It's like $2,000 to $2,200 a year, but I do it once per year and then it lasts the entire time. And I just love it. I think it's great. I'm so happy I discovered that I could actually do that. So what I'm starting to do now is put a little bit of money away just towards the Botox fund. And then as that time comes up, I will replenish. I'm due to get it under the arms again. I'll probably get it around June. So I have some time to save up for that. But that's one thing I really don't want to let go. The next thing is coffee. If you follow me for any time, you know that I've got this thing with going out for coffee. I love coffee. I love the act of going out for coffee. I love ordering it. I love receiving it. I love the taste. I love holding it. I just love coffee. And so a lot of the people that you see in personal finance, and a lot of people are trying to save and budget, you'll notice a lot of them end up making coffee at home. It's just one of those easy things that you can get rid of in your budget and make at home. Valid. Okay, as we talk about it, let's take a drink of coffee. I do make coffee at home, but that's the other thing. I think I just drink way too much of it. I do make coffee at home, but I love to drink coffee on the weekend before the gym. So this is actually from the gym this morning. And then like during the week, I'm trying to lessen the amount of times I go out and leave the office for coffee. I've significantly cut it down. But what's happening now is that I'm not going out, but my coworkers, if they come in at like 10 or 12, they'll call the office and say, we're going to get coffee. Does anybody want one? And I can't not say no. So that's one thing I really haven't taken out of my budget. If I really had to, I probably would. And I should lessen it. I should cut down on it, but I just love it so much. So one thing in my budget that is pretty easy, but I haven't eliminated. The other thing is Rent the Runway. I love Rent the Runway. I'm going to do a video on it as well. I'm going to do the breakdown of why I think it's beneficial. There are some downsides to it. And when I say downsides, I mean just with me and my shopping addiction, like you still get that dopamine hit when you shop. Sorry, I have a huge knot in my neck. You get that dopamine hit when you shop, even if you're renting clothes. And so although I don't shop at all like I used to, I went from like 100% to 5%, if that. I haven't fully tackled the internal desire to shop. Like I haven't eliminated that because I'm still getting that rush and that excitement through Rent the Runway. That said, I love this service. I did actually cut it out of my budget for a few months in the beginning, and I went back to it because I was like, it's so beneficial. Like they see so many more positives in it than negatives in terms of excessive space in your closet. Like you're not shopping, you're just rotating a certain amount of clothes each month, and less dry cleaning and better for the environment. And it is actually less costly because I have added everything up. So Rent the Runway is something I would have a really hard time removing from my budget. Right now it costs about $180 a month. I could lessen that, and I could also increase that if I want. You can rent as many or as little items as you want to rent. I think a lot of people would just say, like, I feel like if I was on one of those personal finance podcasts like Ramit Sethi or Caleb or whatever, they'd see like almost $200 of clothes each month, and they'd be like, you're in debt. You should not be spending $200 on clothes. That's crazy. But it's just a service I love. I think if I end up working from home in the future at any point, I'll remove the service. I won't need it. But now, like going to different offices and going to different events throughout the year, it's just really helpful. And I was kind of miserable when I cut it out. So I'm keeping it. That's one thing I do not want to eliminate from my budget. The next thing is luxury makeup. So again, I have tried so many drugstore options, and in my opinion, they don't compare. Maybe some do, but for me, for my skin type, for my likes, I enjoy mid-level to luxury makeup. And there are a few items specifically that I absolutely need in my makeup bag that I have replenished at least like 20 times minimum. The first thing is a Wayne Goss lipstick in the color Lily. I have bought this lipstick like 10 times already. And if I've lost it twice and replaced it right away. I love the color is so, for me, it's neutral, but it's not like so neutral that you can't see it. Easy to apply, moisturizing, just love it. Again, don't go buy this color. What works for me, especially with lipstick, the shade for me might not work for the shade for you. So don't go buy this. This is just my love, my little bag of makeup that I enjoy. So that's one thing that I will always restock, and I have not eliminated from my budget. The next thing is a mascara. And I feel like I might get a little yelled at for this, but invalid. Very valid, but I'm still going to buy it until I can't buy it. And that is the Chantecaille Faux Cils Mascara. The reason why I started using this because it has peptides in it that makes your, like, you know, you have lash growth serum that you put on your eyelashes. This has it in the mascara. And so because of that, the mascara I think is $76, which is really expensive for a mascara. That said, this mascara, not only, I have always done lash lifts. I now do them at home myself, which is like a perming solution. You are perming your eyelashes, which can fry them and make them fall out. I've never had any issue with like burning or falling out my eyelashes. I give credit to that mascara for it. Also, the mascara doesn't run. It doesn't transfer on me unless I'm crying. It doesn't make my eyes burn. And one tube lasts. I've tested this, okay? I feel like I've tried every single mascara out there. I could go into Sephora or on the Sephora website, guaranteed I've tried about 90% of them. And this mascara, the Chantecaille mascara, lasts twice as long. It's not even close. I like the Too Faced. I liked a Chanel one. There's a Lancome one I really liked, but they all dried out so early. This mascara lasts for forever. So I only have to buy about 2 to 3 a year. So it is expensive, but it's a mascara I've been using for, I don't know, probably 7 years at this point, and I don't want to give it up, even if it is $76. And then with that, I'm not going to go through my whole makeup collection, but I've dialed my makeup down to just certain products that I use over and over again. When they run out, I replenish. It's a brow, it's a foundation, which is pretty light, it's a bronzer, and it's a blush, and a powder. And all of those, I would say, are mid-level to a little more expensive. They're nothing drugstore, but I just feel like it's worth it to replace them. The makeup I don't really go through that often, but one thing I do go through, I will show you, is this By Terry hyaluronic acid powder. And I think that this is like my 10th to 15th powder. It's the only powder I use, and I have super oily skin. Don't go buy this, okay? Don't go buy this. I'm telling you, do not look this up, because this is a very particular powder. A lot of people don't like this because it can be too powdery and heavy. Just don't go buy it. I cannot say this enough. I do not want to influence you, okay? But this just works for my skin, and my skin is very temperamental, so I stick with that. It's a good one. The next thing is shoes. I haven't bought shoes in a while. I don't think I've bought shoes. Oh, I did. I bought one pair of shoes for, since I started budgeting, I purchased one pair of shoes, and that was because most of the shoes I have are heels, and I was starting to go to an office, especially as it got colder, an office that's in Island, and is a lot of cobblestones, and literally if you wear heels, you will break your leg or your ankle. So I bought a pair of shoes for that, and I do not regret them. They were actually on the less expensive side. They were about $130, Mary Jane with a little baby heel, and those I've worn countless times, so well worth it. But that said, shoes are one thing, not necessarily that I don't want to eliminate from my budget, but the type of shoe. So if I ever decide to buy another pair of shoes, I don't know when I'll need to, but if I do, I tend to like expensive shoes. And I've tried everything from really low end to the high end, and there's just a difference. And I'm not saying every single high-end shoe, like if we take a Louis Vuitton or a Jimmy Choo, I'm not saying because it's a Jimmy Choo or Louis Vuitton that it's going to be that much better, but when I make the comparison, when I find the shoe I really like, the way that it fits your foot, the way that it looks, the way that it feels when walking is night and day from a less expensive shoe. And I love shoes so much, and I think that they make such a difference in outfit for men and women. And so, like, if I see a man in a nice suit and then I look down and he's got like some really bad shoes on, in my opinion, it just kills the outfit. And I think you can take a plain outfit that you're wearing and up level it just by wearing the right pair of shoes. I just love shoes. I can't say it enough. Anyway, so I don't tend to buy the really low end shoe. And so if I feel like I need a pair of shoes in the future, I will tend to gravitate towards the more expensive kind. I feel like some people might think I'm delusional, but there is like a mid-level range, and it's by Sarah Flint, and I purchased 2 of her shoes, and they're very comfortable. I love how they feel, and they're about $500, which it's expensive. Okay, yeah, $500 for a pair of shoes is kind of crazy, but when you compare it to the Jimmy Choos and the Louis Vuittons and the Fendis of the world that are like $1,000 plus on the low end, $400 to $500 is not too bad. So yeah, I would rather save up for the right pair of shoes than buy a less expensive pair. I have 2 more. The last one is nights out with my partner. I don't want to sacrifice going out to dinner. And I think that, if I was to sit down with a personal finance expert who's going through my finances and I said I wanted to get out of debt and start saving excessively, one of the first things they would look at is like, don't go out to eat. Like, just eat at home. You don't need to. That's a lot of money that you're wasting. A lot of people say, like, cut that out. Cut eating out and cut coffee out. But I enjoy it. We have a date night every Saturday, and it's something that we both look forward to. It's a way to reconnect after the week, because during the week we're really busy. We come home, I go right to bed because I'm so tired, and it's like there's not a lot of that time. So Saturday night I really look forward to. We could cook at home, but we just like to get out of the house, get a glass of wine, go out to dinner, and I think that that is worth it. And so that's something that I budgeted for, and I'm not willing to take out of the budget. And it also affects him too. When I first started budgeting a lot, I was like, and when I first started budgeting, we moved into the place that we're in now. And when we were moving, I was like, hey, I'm really starting to budget. I want to be so severe in my spending. Like, I want to cut out a lot of stuff. And he took that to mean dining out too. Even though he didn't explicitly say it, he just did. So we moved in and we stopped going out. And so after like 2 to 3 months, I'm like, why don't we go out anymore? He's like, you said you were budgeting and you didn't want to spend money. I was like, oh, well, I still want to spend money on this. So we re-upped it again. And then that first night we went out after taking a break, we were like, that's really nice. We should like keep doing that. So we are. I just think it's worth it. So that's something I want to put into my budget, not remove. And the last thing is sister trips. I have 2 sisters, and one sister and I are 7 years apart. The other sister and I are 14 years apart. And, growing up, obviously it's really hard. One sister was off at college and I'm in like grade school. So we just didn't have time to connect. As got older now and where we are in our lives now, we've gotten so much closer. I love my sisters so much. They're my best friends. But we kind of live in separate areas. And so although we talk every weekend, it's hard to get together. And so what we've been starting to do, one sister and I really love to hike. And then the other sister just loves a spa. So we'll go on like these short trips. We don't fly anywhere really, but we'll drive a few hours, stay in a nice hotel. That sister will go to the spa. Her and I will climb a mountain or do something. We're actually going beginning of February. And that's something I will put into my budget because I just think that time is so precious, and I don't want to sacrifice not going because of money or budget. Like I will do what I need to budget for it. I will take some of this other stuff out if I really need to afford that, because I think it's really important. And I may be moving south in a year or 2. And one sister might be moving back to Portland, Oregon. And the other sister, I don't know where she'll be in a few years. So while we're within an hour and a half of each other, I think it's really important. So in beginning of February, we just planned this like 2 weeks ago. So I haven't actually budgeted for it a lot. So I'm going to be a little behind with budgeting and finances in February, but that's okay. We are heading to, where are we going? I think we're going to New Hampshire. We're staying at a hotel that we stayed at before in the summer. About a year ago, we went to this hotel, and my sister and I hiked Mount Washington, which was brutal. That I did not fully prepare for how difficult that mountain was. Not even the difficulty, just like, it was so scary. I was climbing a mountain of rocks. You look up and it's just a slope of rocks, and you look down and it's like death. Okay. One rock had to just hit me and I would just die. So that was scary. But the other sister, she walked the grounds for a few hours. She got a spa treatment. There's big fireplaces. They have a veranda. It's like a whole thing. And she was just like so happy there. So we're going back in February, and I think it will be fun. So those are the things that I don't want to eliminate from my budget. And so I know I've done really well in cutting out a lot, but I'm not perfect, and I could definitely cut more. There's some fat in there that we could cut off and be way more extreme, but I'm not there yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll get there at some point, but not yet. And that's it. Again, don't go buy these things. Don't go buy these things. I think you should buy what you want to buy, right? Like, again, you're an adult. I don't want to be the cause of that. This is not a channel. This is not like a review channel, even though I semi-reviewed some of these things. I want you to make smart financial decisions. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.